North Carolina Railroad, built by the state from 1851 to 1856 from Goldsboro to Charlotte. Eastern terminus a few yards north. Seymour Johnson Air Force Base is located here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. It's the only Air Force base that was named for a naval aviator. This dollhouse. Here we have arrowheads. Guy Parker Barbecue. Must be a famous barbecue place. I've never heard of it. First African Baptist Church. There's a church bench. And look at these church bonnets. Wow, they call them church crowns? I guess so. Porcelain dolls. Quite the collection. They have prominent families listed here. Mad Anthony Wayne. He was a brigadier general in the Continental Army. His son, Colonel Isaac Wayne, and bore the body to remove the flesh and relocated the family plotted in Pennsylvania. Wow. Lieutenant David Prince, Company I, 119th Infantry. We got several war display. There's one of the cloaks. Kind of hard to see for the reflections. Cannonballs. And Sherman took over Goldsboro. And looks like they have a performance theater here. Oh, this would be where the UFO dances took place. Yeah. Lee Carousel Restaurant. Okay, the UFO. USO. in World War II, they took this building over, so this would be where they had the shows, the dances, socials. There's a newspaper there from World War II. Japan surrenders. And they have the tanker unit here. I forget which number it is. Nuclear mishap. Nuclear bombs crashed January 1961. Widespread disaster averted. 3 crewmen died 3 miles south. The Broken Arrow incident. Look, there's a picture of it right here. One of them, is that, did a parachute drop by parachute? What's the deal? The U.S. was narrowly spared a disaster of monumental proportions when 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs were accidentally dropped over Goldsboro, North Carolina on January 23, 1961. The bombs fell to earth after a B-52 broke up in midair, and one of the devices behaved precisely as nuclear weapons were designed to behave in warfare. Its parachute opened, its trigger mechanisms engaged, and only one low-level voltage switch prevented untold carnage. Each bomb carried a payload of 4 megatons, the equivalent of 4 million tons of TNT explosive. Had the device detonated, lethal fallout would have been deposited over Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and as far north as New York City, putting millions of lives at risk. A secret document published in declassified form for the first time by The Guardian today reveals that the U.S. Air Force became dramatically close to detonating an atomic bomb over North Carolina that would have been 260 times more powerful than a device that was detonated over Hiroshima. The document, obtained by investigative journalist Eric Schlossler under the Freedom of Information Act, gives the first conclusive evidence that the U.S. was narrowly spared a disaster of monumental proportions when wow. Okay, back to World War II. Seymour Johnson Air Force Base history. Established 5 months after the United States ended World War II. Was activated June 12, 1942. Base was named for Navy Lieutenant Seymour Johnson, a native of Goldsboro, a Navy test pilot. Was killed in an accident crash near Norbeck, Maryland. This is the only Air Force base named after a naval aviator. June 1943, a secondary mission was added, which included preparation of officers and men for overseas duty and overseas replacement training center. The 326 Fighter Squadron arrived in October 1943, and in January 1944 began replacement training replacement pilots for P-47 Thunderbolt aircraft. Now it has F-15s and a tanker squadron. Here he is right here, Seymour Johnson. This is the fellow. All right, let's go to World War I. The 30th Division, 119th Infantry, the Old Hickory. There's a World War II pilot's uniform. Okay, Seymour Air Force Base, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. It's part of the 4th Tactical Fighter Wing. The 4th is famous for shooting down the greatest number of enemy aircraft both in World War II and the Korean War. Since its reactivation, the base has been the quarters of the 482nd Fighter Intercept Squadron, the Air Defense Command, the 68th Bombardment Wing of the Strategic Air Command, the 19th Suitcase Air Force and other units. KC-10 tanker aircraft were also assigned to the base. The 4th Wing and its predecessor, the 83rd, have flown F-86s, F-100s, F-105s, F-4s, F-115E. Okay, here's about the USO. 1 week after the attack of Pearl Harbor, this building became a defense center with the city and county headquarters for rationing and Red Cross air raid classes. After Seymour Johnson Field was opened, the Goldsboro Women's Club offered the building to the USO on a nonprofit basis. It opened in August 1942. For 4.5 years, was around-the-clock haven for thousands of servicemen. It was often their last stopping point before going overseas. Dances were held, picnics organized, crafts were made. The wives had a club of their own in the music room, and the lounge with the fireplace was always available. In January 1947, the building was formally returned back to the Goldsboro Women's Club. In 1951, it was again occupied by the USO and returned to the Women's Club in 1973. Look at this old-fashioned popcorn machine. The USO. And remember, USO is a big part of the National War Fund and your United Community Campaign. Don't say no to the USO. And let's go back up here and look at the museum building. Was the USO headquarters during World War II. There they are, reading magazines, flirting with the ladies. Look at this old jukebox here. I think this is more of a 50s style jukebox. Okay, here we go. USO. Mrs. Henry Bartholomew. These are WAC uniforms. Women's Army Corps. Do they still wear skirts? I don't think so. And these are women pilots. Claypool, U.S. Air Force. This is a B-29. This is a B-17. The youngest American to be killed in the Vietnam War, age 15, private first class, U.S. Marine. So he must have got in the Marines underage. Old-timey radio, old-timey wooden, oh, it's a block.